Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another season of the UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippys live here on RaceSpotTV in support of the Calm Zone. Today we are racing at Phoenix International Raceway and the road course layout. It's a pretty old version of this track and a very interesting layout throughout the infield here. And last season it didn't really come down to the wire like we're used to seeing here, but brand new season and 22 cars lined up for the race here today. It's bound to be a pretty good one, and our reigning champion is on pole once again, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. As Adam Miles continuing where he left off last season, and yeah, doing well in qualifying and taking the first pole position of the new season.
He has indeed. So gridding up at the moment, so let's go through the starting grid here while we're at it. Adam Miles on pole position with a 105.497 with Nathan Wade in second, Nicholas Von Roberts in third, and Adam Tompkins up in fourth place with George Mattock in fifth and Matt Cox in sixth place. Christopher Miles in seventh with Seth Brown in eighth, Patrick Bennett in ninth, and Terry McGrother rounding out the top 10, just 1/1000th of a second ahead of Martin Armitage in 11th with Chris Wayne in 12th. Then we have Geoff Randall in 13th, Andrew Bernowski in 14th, David Clapham 15th, Daniel Tufts in 16th, then Greg Roof, Dave Devine, Dave M. Dowson, Peter Cohen, Alan Patterson, and Neil A. Jackson rounding out the field down to 22nd position. So brand new season here. I think engines are already revving, drivers quick onto the grid today, so a short pre-race show. Let's see who can get the best start. It's a great launch from fourth place there from Nicholas Von Roberts. He's gonna be passing, or from Tompkins, or he's gonna pass Nicholas Von Roberts straight away, and Nathan Wade, and then he's gonna miss the start. So I think he might have jumped the start there. He just pulled on straight ahead, so that was unfortunate for him. But Adam Miles has a good start here, side by side a little bit further back, but clean start to the season apart from that little jump.
Yeah, it's been clean so far on lap one, and yeah, this Phoenix road course, it's a tricky track with a Skippy. I find it's so difficult to do a lap around here, but at the moment everyone's been relatively clean, as Adam Miles still leading lap one and basically the first lap of the new season as we ride on board with Matt Cox heading into the hairpin and heading onto the NASCAR section, as I like to call it now. But apart from that, it's been clean for all the drivers so far.
Definitely has, and not much going on further back either. A little bit side by side through an infield, but coming onto the oval here, they have all single filed out, and the optimal line around the oval is up the inside. See if somebody's going to make a move up here now. The draft should be pretty big coming down into turn one, but it's very, very tight as you pretty much turn on to pit road inside of the grass. And there's a spin further back. See who that was. Might have been that was not Seth Brown, that was just ahead of him. Patrick Bennett got sideways there, losing out a few positions here, but he gets going again. Back in about 11th position, side by side here with Tufts. Holds it around the outside though. Still side by side here around the little parking lot as we have another car going off in front of him. Sideways across the track, and contact there with Martin Armitage, I believe that might have been, who was sideways there and collected. I lost the name of who that was going off, but see if we might get a replay up of that as well.
As the replay comes up now, and it looks like, yeah, as indeed Martin Armitage losing it, and Patrick Bennett had nowhere to go, and he was just an unfortunate victim in that incident. But the Armitage just been caught out by cold tyres, possibly by the looks of it. But back to live pictures now, and Nathan Wade in second place is under pressure from Nick Von Roberts, and both of these guys will be wanting to give Adam Miles a run for his money this season for the championship. And as I say that as well, riding on board with Von Roberts, and I think he might just be happy to sit where he is at the moment and just let this race just settle down a little bit, but is ride over the curbs as well and closes right up under braking.
Yeah, very close here for the front five, but fifth place dropping off a little bit there, letting sixth place close in. That's Matt Cox struggling to keep up, and now Mattock has a bit of a gap as well up to Von Roberts, but I think it's going to close right on down, coming through the left hand hairpin here onto the oval again. Very, very tight amongst the top three here, Miles, Wade and Von Roberts. See if he might have a look on the outside here. Nathan Wade could potentially try that to get a bit more speed onto the front straightaway. Tries to tuck under him here, but he keeps it very, very tight. Adam Miles now. Von Roberts goes around the outside. Gonna have the draft on the outside of Nathan Wade, side by side for second into the corner, but the inside line is going to prevail. George Mattock closes right up as well, but stays behind Von Roberts for now. So still no changes here in the top four, and Matt Cox as well. They're back in fifth, still trying to keep up with these guys, and he has a gap of almost 2 seconds back to Christopher Miles and Seth Brown in sixth and seventh.
As the top four at the moment are still close together, and Von Roberts, I thought he was going to run into the back of Nathan Wade there, but yeah, George Mattock, I think he's one of those drivers that he was so close to taking a win at times. There's always Peter Calvin's had issues down in 16th place, and I think it was just a self-spin by the looks of it, but manages to get going again. But as we go back to live pictures, looking at the top four now, I was about to say Mattock is probably one of those drivers that wants to try and take a win this season, because he came so close, or he's come so close in the past, and it's just not worked out for him.
He's been very, very close so many times as they're still racing here at the front 2 wide. Oh, might get 3 wide here. Nicholas Roberts does not want to go in the middle though. This time Wade holds it on the outside of Adam Miles, but he has to back out again, so Miles will hold on to that lead still. Von Roberts still up the inside of Wade, but Wade gets the corner going to the right there and is able to get ahead once more. Mattock trying to find a way through, not wanting to get into anybody here obviously, but just wanting to move up a little bit further, come to the end of this race. But we're only on lap 5 out of 20 so far, so a lot of racing still to go and a lot of mistakes to be made by quite a few drivers in this race, I would believe. But it's been a very, very clean start so far. Still nose to tail here coming onto the oval section, and Cox is keeping that 1.5 seconds up to the race leaders, as well as driving away from Miles and Brown behind, who were literally side by side across the line last time around. Got a couple more battles a little bit further back, but at the moment the main fight and the only big fight we have is for the lead, as Von Roberts moves out of line again. Wade again trying the outside on Adam Miles, but has to back out. Von Roberts trying to peek up the inside, but backs out last second as well. So the front four is going to stay the same up the inside there though from Wade. A little bit of a peak forces Miles to go slightly wider, but he will have the inside in the next corner. So here comes Nicholas Von Roberts through side by side now for second. It's double left-hander now, which is going to benefit Wade. And here comes Mattock, tries to put it in a 3 wide, but it backs out last second, and wide there, very, very deep from Wade, forces him real wide. So Mattock comes through as well. Von Roberts up to second, and Nathan Wade all the way down to fourth, and Cox getting a little bit closer because of that, but it's definitely not going to be enough. So now Von Roberts up to second. Maybe he can find a way past Adam Miles coming across the start finish line.
Possibly could, as he ride on board with Mattock, and the top four as well come back onto the NASCAR oval. And Mattock in third place now, and if I was Mattock, I wouldn't try and make any moves straight away. It might seem tempting if you get a run heading down the straight, but if I was him, I would just be patient and play the waiting game a little bit and just see what these guys in front get up to, because it's been the issue with Mattock in the past. He's been close, and I think he's just been caught up in silly incidents, not through any fault of his own. It's just one of those things. But I think if I was him, just sit back and see if these guys get caught up with each other.
He's in a good spot still, but these guys at the very, very front still doing best they can and not getting close to each other at all almost. And it looks like Miles might be just a little bit too quick for Roberts and Wade, and Mattock now, who's up to third. So they're not really able to get up there and pressure him enough or to make any mistakes. Should they go side by side through the whole infield though, between say Robert and Miles here, I think Cox would catch up in no time, because they will lose just so much speed, and there might even be 3 wide. But he's keeping a good line coming down the straightaway here. No one wants to go to the left, and as long as he's got the inside into turn 1, I don't think they're going to be able to pass him in a good way. This time though, he gets a bit too tight coming into the corner, drifts out a bit, but Von Roberts is too careful, does not throw his car in there. See if they might force it in on the final lap, as we have a sideways moment there for 6th Seth Brown. gets sideways ahead of Christopher Miles, who then ends up spinning out. Don't know if he got hit by Terry McGrother or not. Might have actually driven into the side of Brown as he got sideways there.
That is right on board with Brown as well. Looking at the replay, and yeah, he just carries too much corner speed into turn one and manages. As he clipped. That was Christopher Miles that got clipped and spun around, and Seth Brown done it. Was a lucky boy to hold on to that, but unfortunately, Christopher Miles was the unfortunate victim of that being clipped.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Miles is also towed back to the garage now, so that probably messed up his suspension. And meanwhile, at the front, things are starting to kick off here. Vaughan Roberts right on the tail of Adam Miles, coming back onto the oval. Dropping back a little bit, coming into NASCAR turns 3 and 4, right on the back of him now, coming onto the straightaway. He will pass him before the start-finish line this time. That does not matter until we're on lap 20. He's almost clear around the outside. Miles drifts out a little bit, but Vaughan Roberts holds it out there. Mattock now up the inside, could potentially move up into second, but Miles gets clear, holds on to the lead. Vaughan Roberts now with the inside line, gets sideways over the curb. George Mattock around the outside, up into second place. Vaughan Roberts is able to slip back into third there, ahead of Nathan Wade, but Adam Miles does a great job around the corner, holding off the guys behind again. Doesn't matter what they do, he's somehow able to hold on to the lead. But the important thing that time around, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts did beat Adam Miles to the start finish line. And even though we're only on lap 9, that proves that being in second coming onto the oval could be enough to win this race.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, as they come across, or they come around now back onto the home straight, and coming across the line now to head into lap 10, and Adam Miles, I have to say, he's absolutely handling the pressure. He's absolutely souped it up, and as they head into turn one now, as Miles just doing what he needs to do, and Mattock up into second place now, and can George Mattock take it to Adam Miles and maybe try and make a move? But never say never, but he's under pressure from Vaughan Roberts and Nathan Wade now, and the top four are pretty much just pulled away from fifth place man Matt Cox, so it's a four-car battle for the lead as it stands.
It is. Cox is really struggling to keep up, and he's dropped back some more. It's up to 2.5 seconds again, and Miles getting a little bit of a gap here to Mattock. See now that they come back onto the oval. Apparently I was a little bit behind last time we were coming around here. It was on a replay mode, but Mattock closing in now. See, it will probably not be enough to do anything on this lap, but if he can get close enough and then stick with him throughout the whole infield section, he might be able to do something as we cross the start finish line to complete halfway, 10 laps out of the 20. It's been a fast one so far, only 12 minutes into it, as he puts it up the inside, tries to squeeze it in between Miles and the wall, but Miles keeps it tight and tidy, so no room there to come through, but one little slip from Miles there, and Mattock is up the inside, and I think Miles might have lost the lead for the first time in this race, but he does know, he knows exactly what he has to do coming into that first corner to hold on to this lead. I wonder how many laps he's turned around here this week to make sure he can be this good throughout the entire race, but at the moment he will hold on to that, as we have another battle further back here for that would be 7th and 8th, I believe, between McGrother and Brown. That's actually behind those guys. That is even Tufts and Baranowski ahead of Chris Wayne now coming into the hairpin, as Baranowski is right on the back of Tufts. Might be able to get a run. The leaders aren't really doing much, just staying in line for now. See if something can happen back here. They look a bit spread out as well, but ahead of those two, McGrother and Seth Brown have gone side by side as we have a move for the lead. Yeah, at least tried to make a move coming into turn number 1. Unfortunately, not close enough this time either, but they're there. They're trying. So eventually something is going to happen. Either they're going to pass or there's going to be contact. So just going to have to wait and see. It's going to be more patient, as we have great in-helmet camera shot here, showing just how dirty that visor gets and how hard it gets to see, especially when they come in here facing the sun with all this dirt and stuff on that visor, as it doesn't look like they're able to use any tear-offs here.
Yep, there's a head into the hairpin now, and Vaughan Roberts closes right up under braking, and Mattock, I think his best opportunity to try and get by Adam Miles, I think he needs to try and maybe take a late apex into that hairpin, heading onto the NASCAR oval, try and take a late apex and get on the power early and carry as much momentum as possible. But at the moment, it's, yeah, as I say that, he's getting closer and closer in the slipstream of Adam Miles, and Miles again goes to the inside just to defend him. Oh, George Mattock, I thought he was going to turn into him there. I was wondering what he was doing, as he tries to go around the outside. He's trying everything to try and get by, but he's leaving himself open to attack from Nick Von Roberts, and Von Roberts has to check up ever so slightly, and Nathan Wade is just sitting there in fourth place thinking, come on boys, have an incident so he can gain a few positions.
Yeah, very, very tight there, and brave from Mattock to hang it around the outside like that, and good job as well to be able to hold off Nicholas Von Roberts, because with the inside there he should probably have been able to get by Mattock, but great job there hanging it on the outside, and that shows that he will. Oh, as he moves up the inside, and he's almost going to be clear. He's actually going to be clear. I don't know if Miles made a mistake there, but George Mattock is up into the lead, and Nicholas Von Roberts is side by side with him as well. Just got to nose up the inside here, as Miles has the some sort of side draft coming around the outside. They're going to be 2 wide coming to the finish line here. Might even be 3 wide, as here comes Nathan Wade as well, putting it 4 wide. Is there going to be enough room? He has to back out to not get pushed into the wall. Adam Miles all the way over on the right now. Von Roberts in behind George Mattock, so Miles might actually be able to hold on to the lead here. Mattock goes deep on the inside, and he gets the momentum coming up to the end of this first corner and then into the right-hander. He is clear, so for the first time in this race somebody else actually has control of the race, and it is George Mattock. Is he finally going to be able to score his first win? That was a great move from Mattock. I don't think Miles expected it in the hairpin, as we're coming back up there again. Now Von Roberts is on the outside. Now he gets Wade up the inside, so side by side for third. That's good news for Adam Miles in second, as Wade comes through. Von Roberts is actually able to hold on, but like I said, I don't think he expected that move coming into the hairpin from George Mattock.
Yeah, absolutely. I was about to say that's probably a move that it was like a move that you would probably see from Max Verstappen. It was sort of similar to the move that Max Verstappen done at Abu Dhabi. But yeah, I'm amazed there wasn't any contact. And credit to Mattock, for pulling that off. And Mattock goes to the inside line, tries to defend, and tries to stop Miles getting a run. As Miles has got the slipstream, he's got the run, but he'll need to go around the outside into turn 1, and that's got to be brave to try and pull that off. But as Mattock manages to fend Miles off for the moment and holds on to the lead.
George Mattock holding on to that lead. It's a great place for him to be. This is actually his 45th start in the UK and Ireland Skippys, and he only has 4 second place finishes and a couple of thirds to show for it. So what a way to get your first victory. And that was, I mean, that move came out of nowhere, basically forced its way past, and then somehow held him off. Even though he had the inside in turn 1, I thought Miles was going to be able to get around, because he was that far ahead getting into the corner. But we'll have to see. Still got 5 laps to go, as he gets a tap in the wall there. George slightly tapped the wall with his right rear wheel, and Matt Cox is closed in a little bit here in the last couple of laps. They've been battling away at the front, but here comes Adam Miles again, and looks like he has just a little bit more straight line speed than all these other guys. Looks to the outside, gets out of the draft. Here comes Nicholas Von Roberts. Mattock covers up the inside. Von Roberts will not make it 3 wide. He chooses to stay behind. Wade tries the outside of Von Roberts, but here is Miles on the outside of George Mattock. Mattock goes out a little bit, nearly contact there. Here comes Von Roberts. They're side by side now into the right-hander. Then it's going to be Von Roberts on the inside for the left-hander, but I think Miles is actually going to be clear. Slight overlap there, but on the outside Miles has the overspeed and gets around and holds onto that position. But Mattock forced Miles a little bit wider there, allowed Von Roberts to get up the inside and try to follow him up into second place there. But Von Roberts had to give up that position again to Adam Miles, who is back into second. So I bet Nathan Wade is loving all of this, just waiting for contact to happen as we're coming back on to NASCAR turns 3 and 4 once again to complete this lap. That should be turn 12 and 13 on this track layout. 4 laps to go this time by Ryan.
Absolutely, as I come round now to complete the end of lap 16 is George Mattock tries to squeeze Adam Miles against the wall. That was very, very naughty, and yeah, I think George just needed to be more aware there that Miles was onside, and that was just that move wasn't on if I was in charge of race control. But anyway, Adam Miles back into the lead. Matic falls down to second, and it's been a fantastic race between these top four as well. But Nathan Wade's pretty much just been sitting there playing the waiting game, watching these guys going at it every lap, and you could just say, I don't like to say it, but you could just sense that something might happen.
Yeah, something is about to happen. There is a big group battling behind as well, but we're coming into the closing laps here, and we do not want to miss one bit of what's happening here. Coming down to 3 laps to go this time by, and how Adam Miles managed to squeeze up the inside there, I don't know. George Matic needs to do a better job of holding the wall there when you're in the lead, because one little gap and somebody's going to take it, which we saw from Adam Miles. And now you can see Matic is not getting close enough here to Adam Miles to be able to do the same thing. Here comes Matic now on the outside, or Von Roberts on the outside of Matic as well, and that's not going to help Matic. Von Roberts actually backs out to give Matic the optimal line to be able to get back on Adam Miles close to the wall there. Has to turn back out a little bit, and I think if he's going to make this happen, George, he's going to need to throw it up the inside in the hairpin again, and to do that he needs to be closer than what he is now, as we have that other battle here on the right side of the screen as well. That is for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, as we have contact there. Terry McGrother getting into, no, that's actually Daniel Tufts, gets ran over by Terry McGrother for 6th and 7th. And then Seth Brown and Andrew Baranowski right behind. No damage there. I think they might have actually got away with that one, but Daniel Tufts moving up into 6th place there again. See if he can hold on to that then, as I don't think a top 5 is on the cards. But Cox is closing in on these leaders, 2.3 seconds up to them, and 2 laps to go this time by, so I don't think he's going to have anything to do with the front 4 here unless something happens. But here they come again. Nicholas Von Roberts to the outside of George Matic, and Adam Miles once again is too far ahead for them to do anything.
That is heading to turn 1 now, and it's such a difficult corner to get right, turn 1, because it's basically one long sweeping left-hander basically, and as Von Roberts is battling away with Nathan Wade now, and Wade is realising he needs to start making moves if he wants to try and get into the podium position. There's about contact between the two of them, and Von Roberts, oh my god, that was so close.
Somehow Von Roberts manages to avoid Wade, or Wade manages to avoid Von Roberts there. That was unfortunate, as we had an incident between Chris Wayne and Dave Dowson as well. They've come together at some place, but now Von Roberts has been caught up by Matt Cox, and just as I said, he had nothing to do with this unless there's an incident. There is an incident, and now he's right behind Nicholas Von Roberts. But for the lead, coming to the start-finish line to get the white flag to start the final lap of this race is Adam Miles, picking up where he left off last season, taking charge of the championship, possibly, unless George Matic can do something here. 1 lap to go for Matic to get his first ever win in the Monday Night Skippies. Oh, as we have a lap car on the inside there. I don't know if that showed up on the broadcast right behind the wall. There was a slow car on the inside that could have destroyed Matic, who had no idea he was there. Cost him a little bit of time. Now he's going to need to do something special here, coming around the infield if he wants anything to do with the win here. Otherwise it's going to be Adam Miles once again. Matic tight on the curb here. See what he can do. Here's a replay. It wasn't really close, but seeing a car appearing like that out of nowhere is going to upset you no matter where it is and how close you are to it. Coming into the hairpin now, turn number 11 back onto the NASCAR oval. And it looks like Adam Miles is actually going to have this. Matic is not close enough. It's a few tenths behind him, just a little bit too much. And Miles gets a better exit as well than George Matic does. So coming around turn number 13 onto the start-finish straight to take the checkered flag to start the new season of the UK&I Monday Night Skippies is Adam Miles, with George Matic once again finishing in 2nd, and Nathan Wade coming home in 3rd, with actually Matt Cox passing Nicholas Von Roberts on the final lap. And that other battle we had back behind him has actually spread out there from 6th on down to 9th. So Daniel Tufts is going to get that ahead of Seth Brown, Baranowski and McGrother. And then we have actually no more. There is a battle for 12th and 13th between Greg Ruff and Dave Devine with Peter Cohen. They're coming on to NASCAR Oval, but I think Devine got that hairpin just a little bit too good ahead of Greg Ruff for him to be able to do anything. So Dave Devine is going to come home in P number 12 here. Also see if I've not been able to figure out what happened there between Dowson and miles, but still running a great race to start off the season.
Absolutely fantastic stuff in that battle at the front that just went on for most of the race, and it just wouldn't settle down. And it looked like at one point Mattock was going to hold on for the win, but Adam Mills, they continue where he left off the last season, and they takes a win to start the new season.
He does in the end, just under half a second ahead of George Mattock, who is in second place with Nathan Wade in third. And then Matt Cox manages to get by Nicholas von Roberts there on the final lap to finish fourth with Nick in fifth. Daniel Tufts wins the battle in the second pack for sixth place ahead of Seth Brown, Andrew Bernowski, Terry McGrother, and then we have Geoff Randall coming home in 10th place with Martin Armitage in 11th, Peter Cohen in 12th, Greg Ruff in 13th, Dave Devine 14th, David Clapham in 15th, and league organizer Alan Patterson rounding out the lead lap finisher here in 16th. Then we have Dave Dowson, Christopher Miles, and Chris Wayne one lap down, and then Neil Jackson, who was in an early incident, 13 laps down, Patrick Bennett 15, and then Adam Tompkins, who had a jump start there. I think we're going to have to say he had a great launch but pulled off right away, so I think fair play to him to not get in the way of those other guys when your race is pretty much over anyway. But see if we can get any sort of interviews here. It usually takes a little while for these guys to come in to the broadcast room, but we do have our third place finisher here with us. Nathan Wade started second, dropped back a little bit, had a fight there, second down through fourth, sat fourth actually for the most of the race, and then something happened there in the last couple of laps. But talk us through how your race went.
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm quite disappointed with the race. I got a good qualifying in, and then I think I just had that side by side with Nick towards the first right-handed hairpin, and I just went deep purely because I didn't want to hit Nick, and I was worried that if I turned in I was going to hit him, so I was more focused on him rather than where I was braking, and I just completely locked up. And once you get into fourth at this track, you cannot do anything. Every single straight, the three in front will just pull away from you, and you don't have a chance to make a move. And I just had to hope that Nick was going to make it three wide or put his car in the mix of them two battling, and then try and capitalise off that, which I tried to, and then I took too much curb, I think lap 19, which sent me straight, and then Nick just clipped my rear. So apologies to Nick about it, because I have spoken to him. I didn't realise how much further ahead I was at the time, but yeah, good win to Adam, to be fair.
Still a great job from you to keep up with those guys and manage to salvage a third place finish, even though probably not ideal. But looking ahead on the schedule, any favourite tracks you have for this season?
I'm not really sure yet. I want to say Snetterton next week. I think I'm looking forward to, because I always seem to have okay pace or decent pace there. I'm hoping I can keep the pace I had last season and the season before going into that track. Because if Adam's going to keep the form he had last season, then I don't think anyone's got any chance of beating him. But yeah, I'd say Snetterton. I think Red Bull's on there again. Again, it's quite a luck-based track, and one other, Belle Isle as well. Looking forward to that one. Do like street circuits.
Well, have to see if you're able to get a few wins from Adam then, but thank you for joining us and congratulations on a third place finish here tonight.
Cheers guys.
As that was Nathan Wade, and next up we have Ryan standing by with our reigning champion.
Yeah, reigning champion Adam Miles, continuing where he left off last season, and taking a win to start the season. Adam, that was a pretty awesome race to watch, but I bet that was intense from where you were.
Yeah, it's a track where you definitely want to be at the front, get a pole position, which I managed to do by only a fraction, and then yeah, just own the inside of turn one. It's pretty much the only overtaking place without the other driver making a mistake, and I did that pretty successfully for the first half of the race, and then George got past. I can't really remember the move at this point. Maybe he did it around the outside of turn 1. I'd have to go back and have a look. But then I figure I'm going to have to do something a little bit bold to get back past, and just found a car-sized gap between the pit wall and George a few laps from the end, and then just had to just keep hugging the inside of turn 1. But it was a pretty intense race. There wasn't any lap where I thought I've got a bit of breathing room here. So full credit to George. Really ran me hard in that race.
Yeah, talking about George as well, when you guys were battling, I think he was leading at one point across the line, and then you got a run on him, and for what I saw, it looked like he tried to squeeze you against the wall. What's your take on that view? What's your take on that move? Sorry.
I don't know, to be honest, which move you mean. I think the only time he squeezed me against the wall was maybe when I came up the inside to make a pass. I don't remember any other time where that happened. There are a couple of times where I tried to go around the outside of turn 1, but I mean, he's well within his rights to drift out a little bit and try and run me wide, so he did that pretty successfully every time I tried to go around the outside. So yeah, I had no problems with the way George drove for that race.
And looking ahead to the season as well, any tracks that you think you'll do well at this season, and if so, what particular track and jet do you think?
I mean, it's not the best track for racing, but I do enjoy the Nordschleife. So it's nice to see that back on the calendar after a few seasons away. But I mean, there aren't any tracks that I hate. I don't think there's any bogey tracks that I'm looking at thinking I just need to come away with a third or fourth. They're all much of a muchness. So I'll just take every race as it comes.
Good stuff. And before we let you go, Adam, anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Just as you guys, as always, for doing the broadcasts, Alan for running the league, and then the top 4 in that race. I think they all took turns at being P2 at certain points during that race, and it was clean throughout, so it was a good race. Good
stuff. Well, again, congratulations on taking the victory in round 1 of the new Monday Night Skippy season, Adam, and yeah, good luck at the next round next week.
Thanks, Ryan.
That was reigning champion and race winner and now championship leader as well, Adam Welsh. Just wondering if anyone will be able to stop him. But if anyone should be able to stop him, it could be George Mattock coming home second again. 5th second place finish, I think, in the Monday Night Skippies. George, talk us through how this one went.
Hey guys, yeah, that was good fun. I enjoyed that. Shame I should have been probably more aggressive than I was when Adam was trying to sneak up my inside into T1. I think I could have probably closed the door even more, but that might have been on the limit. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was close racing, and to be honest, I'm really happy that I got up from 4th up to 1st, because you've seen so many times, particularly at drafty tracks, ones that are easier to pass at than this. It's when you're sat in 4th, it's just so little that you can do when you're in that train. And I think Nathan made a mistake and he went off at turn 5, turn 6, and I went through and then managed to get by on Nick when he was trying to get past Adam, and then obviously got past Adam with the move up the inside on the hairpin. So yeah, I enjoyed that. Felt like I probably should have won if I'd have been a bit more aggressive in my defence, but always trying to keep it clean and respectful.
Still a great race. Looked like it might be some contact between you guys when he squeezed it in there, but thankfully you opened the door just enough for both of you to survive. But it looked like the lead was the place to be, and very, very hard to overtake unless you got super aggressive. So just that turn 1, if you're not in the lead, how hard is it really to overtake around that on the outside?
I think it's like 95% impossible unless you have an absolutely perfect initial turn in, because if you carry too much speed, you're going to lose the rear and you have so much slip. And even if you try and make a move on 1st, if you're 2nd, 3rd place is going to have a look. And that's how I got past Nick. I think he tried to go around the outside of Adam, and so I snuck up the inside because he was just carrying a bit too much speed. And it is difficult. You always want to be on that inside. I think I got up the inside of Adam at some point there. I can't remember. There were so many times where we were wheel to wheel, but the difficulty is being on the inside is that you've got to make sure you leave enough space and don't completely shove the guy off and leave a car's width on the outside. Otherwise, there could easily be a double DNF there. But it's very difficult to pass at this track altogether. To be honest, I knew I had to do something when I was close enough for that send at the penultimate corner. I knew I had to do something because he was just going to defend the inside out of the last corner into turn one. So that was the only real opportunity. I think maybe I caught him napping a little bit, but that was a good move. I felt like that was good and fair. So yeah.
Well, at least you managed to lead for a little bit, unlike anybody else in this race apart from Adam, so well done on that, and congratulations on yet another second place finish and a good start to the season.
Thanks guys, and I'll see you next week. I hope we get that win.
Hopefully you will. Thank you for joining us. And that would be it for our top 3 interviews for today, Ryan. That was a very interesting race for being a road course, as we have the full schedule here. Snetterton 300 next week, then we head to Kota West, and then Belle Isle, which could be a wild card. Red Bull Ring, which is one of the draftiest shorter tracks that we have, and then brand new Knockhill International. See how the Skippy handles around there, bouncing over the curbs, and then Road America, Alton Park, Hungaroring, Nürburgring, something I'm not even going to try to pronounce, and then the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and then we finish off at Brands Hatch back in the UK. So very intense schedule with a lot of different types of tracks. Any one race that you look forward to in particular here?
After doing some laps around it, not just because it's my excuse me, my home track, but Knockhill with the Skip Barber should be interesting to see what the race is like around there, but it's from the laps I've done so far, it's an excellent track, and I think with the Skip Barbers, I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic race in that round for round 6.
It definitely is a track that definitely suits these cars. I would think with the lower power they have, it's not that much of a draft track, so a bit more down to the drivers, but definitely going to be able to throw it around all these turns, so it's definitely going to be one to look out for. So that, I believe, will be it for tonight's opening round of the 2022 Season 1 UK&I Monday Night Skippys here on RaceSpotTV. My name is Linus Broström. I have been joined, as always, by Ryan Walker with Hugo Luis behind the cameras, doing this broadcast in support of the Calm Zone, the campaign against living miserably. And until next time, take care, everybody, stay safe, and have a good week. Goodbye.